I was absolutely bricking it. I can't lie to you.
Do you know what? You was like an annoying little brother, I'm not going to lie.
If you get on that show, how can you make it different from what you've already watched?
I was bricks. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear.
I bumped into you. I was on my way to get a McDonald's. I think you were on the way back.
Hello! I'm alright, are you?
There's no way I'd be able to like live with my life if I couldn't get a slinky on my head.
This is the first one I've done after the show's been aired, so it should be quite interesting. But I think a lot of people want to be asking, what was your strategy with the Frozen T-shirt challenge? Tell the viewers what you did.
Well, the strategy with as I spoke to my son in the States after, he said, great strategy, but wrong thinking. Obviously, now hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, like you said, I've got plenty of body fat, so I thought, okay, I'll lay in it and the heat. But like you said, your body fat keeps in. That's what you got skin for. So obviously that didn't work. And from my point of view, I mean, people don't realise, I don't know, but you didn't see the Slinky challenge when I did the Slinky challenge, but I really, really struggled in that. And that's unfortunately when they think I had a stroke.
Yeah, so I've obviously I heard about this, and Julie mentioned it the other day, because I think she's someone who you spoke to on the show. But talk us through it. What happened?
Well, basically when I was doing the Slinky, I mean, and prior to the Slinky outside, they got me a chair and made me sit. I had to have a chair to sort of like sit down. Didn't feel too good, but no excuses. Say went to do the Slinky challenge, and I really, really struggled. I mean, it was great, and I know you were there as well, cheering me on because you could see it. But if it hadn't have been for you and Caroline and Julie and everyone else cheering me on, then I certainly would have give up because, as I say, I just didn't feel like it. One of the contestants, Caroline said, looked as though you were having a heart attack, and she wasn't far wrong from the point of view. Obviously, I was, having a mini stroke.
Yeah.
But I just thought, well, I can't let everyone down. I've got to keep going. Unfortunately, I did it. So then when we came to do the Frozen challenge, the T-shirt challenge, I couldn't use my left arm. I couldn't, my left side was numb. So I just could not physically pull the T-shirt apart. So I thought the only thing I can do is just lay on it.
I know.
I mean, it's funny saying that at the moment, but yeah, I mean, so two or three things there, and I'm no sour grapes to anyone or anything of the show, but I mean, there was a time difference. I was literally the last person to be given a T-shirt, so those vital seconds or minutes did obviously must have made a difference.
Yeah.
But the fact was, of course, as I say, my left arm was, just sort of like paralysed. I also got freezer burn as well. My sort of that finger there was just literally turned blue. And then while Lisa, bless her, was being treated for her ankle, I was beside her. Julie mentioned that Les wasn't feeling too good, and then the paramedic sort of like turned around and dealt with me. He had a hard job convincing me to go to hospital because I wanted my 15 seconds of fame in the center ring. But they convinced me after 30 minutes, and I was blue lighted to the hospital for 3 days. So I spent 3 days in the stroke unit. And
yeah.
So you could look at it two ways: a stroke of the good luck or a stroke of bad luck, whichever way you look at it. Because if that hadn't happened whilst I was on the show, then it could have gone to 3 weeks or months later, and it could have led to a more serious incident. So I received medication, so I'm now on medication for the rest of my life.
Yeah, how are you feeling now? Are you feeling
Yeah,
better?
I feel good in myself. I say the only thing, my little finger, mid index finger, still got tingling and in my left arm, but that's a lot better than other people that have suffered strokes, isn't it? So
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely,
that
definitely.
was good. But it was a great experience, great bunch of people.
Well, I was going to lead on to that question. How did you find it? Who did you make friends with? What did you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was only there literally for a couple of days until that incident, but made what I call great friends. To say Lisa because she was beside me being treated. So Lisa, Shane, Shane. When we first got there, I sort of like worked to the shop. I went to the shops with him because we didn't eat. So walking there and walking back, and there was Nikki as well. So Nikki, Julie, you know, Biddy when I first got there, at the bar and everything else. Great, as I say, great bunch, great experience.
Did
I
we
mean,
speak at any point? I can't remember. Obviously, there's that many people you're chatting to.
yeah, no, I don't think we did. I don't think we sort of like, because as you say, people got to know one another when they first arrived and sort of like went in little groups and that. But because there was so many people there, I obviously 100. You sort of like formed a liaison friendship. And likewise, as you know, when we sat down in the sort of like the breakout areas, you couldn't all huddle around a desk or table. So you sort of like tended to huddle where you were and so on and so forth. But no, it was good.
Yeah,
It was good.
definitely, definitely.
I mean, I was there definitely for the fun because like I said, because of all my charity work and what I do, I was there and I said if I were fortunate to win it, I'd give the money away to charity, so all 25k. But it was just being there for the experience more than anything else.
Tell me about what you do. What behind the scenes of 99 to beat? What is your life?
Sorry. My life. Well, for example, next Saturday I've got a charity event next Saturday. It's the 45th year of me doing this charity event. I've got 300 people going. I've turned 820 people away. That's how popular it is. So I spend most of my time. So I do quizzes. So tonight I got a quiz. So I do quizzes on a Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night. And then whatever I can do on a Friday, Saturday, or Friday or a Saturday. But over the course of 52 years, I've raised over £12 million for charity.
Oh, brilliant.
So my life is just sort of like, and I've always done that even when I worked. Would spend hours on the computer, emails or whatever. I'm chairman of this. I'm chairman of that on sort of 30 different associations. So my life, even though I retired a couple of times, and I retired 3 years ago, my life is crazy, social life, which
Yeah.
is good to be. Good
Oh,
to
definitely,
be.
definitely.
But yeah.
I suppose that will help massively getting onto the show. Why did you apply? Would you just want to do something different, or?
No, I just wonder because I like the concept. That was the thing. I like the concept where it doesn't matter, age, creed, color, diversity, different games. Yeah, and I don't like routine. I like the different aspects of I like the unexpected.
Yeah.
Everything's a challenge. And give it
Well,
my all. It's quite funny because in the team games, I looked around and I said to everyone, "Look, I might be the smallest, and I might be the smallest. I might be the oldest. I might be the chubbiest or whatever. But I just said, look, I'm going to do my best, and that's all I can do. And that's the way I look at life.
yeah, that's the aspects of the show, really, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
The intro, it's all different kinds of people, just regular people everywhere. And
Yeah.
whereabouts are you based? Where do you live?
I live in Gosport, which is opposite Portsmouth. So
Really?
so it's a good good naval sort of like heritage and town. And I've lived down here because I came out in the Royal Navy in 1979, and I've lived down here, same house ever since. But
So,
I like you.
79.
I'm quite fascinated seeing you going abroad and that because like I've been lucky enough in my lifetime, especially in my Navy days, to have visited 63 countries.
Oh,
So
that's
So so it's good to follow you, seeing you when you're abroad, places like Ukraine and that. Got some very good friends, and I hate to say it, but I see the Ukrainians on a weekly basis. They're here training. Obviously, I can't say too much, but they're sort of like here in the south training and everything else. But when I see them the next time, only half of them return because the other half have been killed in action.
Yeah, yeah. So where did you go out to Ukraine at any point with the Navy?
Well, I went out to the Black Sea. In my early Navy days. Man, it was really weird because I it was like 35 years ago. I took a picture of a Russian sailor, and then we sort of like met up about 20 years later, and I recognised him, and he recognised me.
Really?
It was just it was like we have a Remembrance Sunday. They have a similar thing in the Eastern Bloc, and I met him at this place, and it was just millions to one meeting up with him. But but it's like everything else. They're only doing, in any war or conflict, you're only doing what your government asks you to do.
Yeah. No, that's very true. Yeah, and I mean it's 70. When did you say 70s? You were in the Navy.
Yeah, 70s.
That's an interesting kind of time in the world, then, isn't it? To be.
It was, yeah, because I served in Northern Ireland, even though I was in the Navy. And in the early 70s, it was a lot of bad things going on in Northern Ireland and all over the world, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Where were you in Northern Ireland? Were you near Derry?
Well, I was I was sort of like going between Northern Ireland and Era. So I got got my Northern Ireland medal, but I was sort of like hush hush supporting certain groups and that. And in those days, you had FOSNI, Flag Officer Scotland, Northern Ireland. So if you like, I was his PA secretary. So I would be like the administrator and office manager and payer of Army, Navy, so on and so forth. But but they were bad times for me because I saw things that you don't want to see. So I hit the bottle at 18, just to forget and But so if you like, PTSD and that didn't really exist,
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's and it caught up with me eventually, the drinking. So the last time I had a drink was the 26th of May 2012. There you go.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So
no, it's good going, and I've well done. You obviously there's a lot of stuff gone on, and here you are on a national TV show. It's a great story. It is. But so you left the Navy, then what happened? Just started the charity work.
Left the Navy and went into, I thought, shall I be a tax inspector? But then 1 in 3 tax inspectors, by the time they're 55, have a heart attack. So I thought, no, that doesn't sound good. Should I become a diplomat? And I applied and got for a diplomat. But again, at those times, you had to sort of like start off in London. And I just got married, young family. So, just couldn't afford it. So I decided to go into banking and finance and insurance. And then for like 30 years, that's what I did. So
no, that's so. Where was that based then?
Well, I was here, I was at Southampton, Portsmouth. So I worked for Zurich Life, I worked for HSBC, I worked for Midland Bank, worked for Schroders International. So I've had quite a diverse.
It sounds like you've had a diverse life, to be honest.
Yeah, and I mean, when I left the banking and finance, I then became the submarine escape training officer.
Really?
So I did that. Then I became the PA to the chief of staff. So as I say, my and then I worked for Gosport Borough Council as a homeless officer, and then Hampshire County Council, where I finally ended up. But
no, that sounds good. So you mentioned 63 countries. Out of all of them, what's the most interesting?
Well, again, it's how you define most interesting. I mean, the nicest place I think I went to was Barbados.
Yeah.
Never forget Barbados. That was different in all types of aspects of things. Of course, the States. I mean, you know, I mean, I love a gamble. So I've been to Las Vegas like literally 40 times since 1970. Yeah. Um, Gambia in Africa, I like because of simplicity, but then it's the third poorest country in the world.
Yeah, I've got a mate from Gambia.
So it's like going from, you know, one extreme to another. As I say, so like interesting. Yeah, that every country is interesting.
Yeah, it varies, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's like England. I mean, still places on my bucket list. England, and so I'd like to go to Bath. I haven't been to Bath. I'd like to go to Leeds Castle in Kent. I'd like to go to Warwick Castle. I'd just like to go to sort of like different places. But again, it's like time. So my time factor's running out. And as I say, the
Why were you in Barbados?
Sorry?
Why were you in Barbados?
Because that's when the ship went to. That was a ship visit, Barbados.
Yeah.
So, that was in the early 70s or late 70s. But you know, over the course of times, I've been back again. But I mean, I've lived in Hong Kong. My mum and dad lived in Hong Kong. My dad was a sailor, lived in Hong Kong, and we adopted my sister while we lived in Hong Kong when she was 6 months old. So she's Oriental in looks and everything, you know, everything else, but you know, speaks proper English better than I do. But yeah, so I've lived a very interesting life. But it sounds as though you're enjoying yourself anyhow. So
yeah, I'm doing all right. I've done 28 countries so far, which I'm usually quite proud of, but I can't be on this podcast because you've blown it out of the water. But yeah, I've done a lot of Europe. I've never left Europe, which is obviously I need to at some point. But I've done. The thing is, it makes you realise how big the world is, and maybe you'll feel this even the same because there's so many countries even you haven't been to, and
well, it's like Africa alone is last count 51. I think there might be 53 countries now, but
yeah, I thought it was 52, 53.
53 countries. I mean, you know, so that could be a lifetime just doing that.
Yeah, no, yeah, it could. I mean,
you know, so like I said, even if you're starting now, so you're in your 20s.
I'm 19.
Yeah, so 19, yeah. So I mean, you know, the world's your oyster, but as you say, even if 51 countries, you visit African countries one a year, so by that time you're going to be 80, you know, 70, 80 years old.
Yeah. I tried to count how many new countries. I did a load of new countries last year, and I think this year I've done 3 so far. I've done Moldova. Oh no, 4. I've done Moldova, Denmark, Latvia, and Estonia, which I'd never been to. So I'm probably going to end up averaging 10 new countries a year or something like that. So I think I can. My goal is to go to every single country in the world. So I think I can pull it off. But it's obviously I think the harder part is actually the visas and getting to these places and the politics of it. Is that it will be harder than just booking the flights and making the time to get there.
Yeah, sort of like nowadays it's why are you coming here? You know, espionage, this, that, and everything else. It's whereas in the old days you didn't have that. It was very, very free. You know, if you were a tourist, you were a tourist. That type of thing.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. It's kind of I'm sort of conscious of some of the countries on my passport getting into other. Do you know what I mean? If I turn up in a certain place and I've got another country's stamp, then it just leads to issues and problems, doesn't it, and stuff like that. So that's what I always think. Like I need to plan it out strategically. I don't want to go to North Korea before I go to the US. Do you know what I mean? That could cause some.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you want to do it the other way, right? But then it doesn't matter. It's just the way of the world as well, you know. And you could be standing, let's say, talking to someone, and you literally could get stabbed in the back or whatever. But you know, but I always say it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in London, whether you're in Southampton. It's being at the right place at the wrong time, but you just take. You know, you're now a man of the world, so you know some places you don't go to, or if you do go to them, you make certain you're accompanied and things like that. You know.
Yeah. I mean, you'll know this better than I do. Yeah. Did you ever feel when you're in certain places, you need to find a happy medium between not looking like a target, but also not displaying any sort of aggression. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It's you know, as I say, I went to I always remember like going to Philly in my early days, and those, you know, and no disrespect, as I say, I got no racial whatever, but they said, look, you mustn't go here. You know, this is a bad place, and this is that and everything. And I went there. You don't go out of your way, but that's one of the best memories ever. So
Yeah.
you know, we sort of like flew there. We flew from New York to Philly. Went to a concert. You know, 77,000 people there. You know, and there were 6 white people there, but we had the best time ever. You know, whereas everyone's saying, "No, don't go there, don't go there." Well, what difference does it make? You know, as I say, and it's how you go about life, as you just said. You know, you don't put yourself out there, but you don't shy away from.
Yeah.
You know, you just act normal.
Yeah, just totally.
99.9% people will be, you know, welcome you with open arms, and I'm certain you made a lot of friends on your travels as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And they'll always be your friends, you know. And it's like our TV 99 family friends. You know, you'll always be in contact in the future. With age, that will slowly disappear because you'll sort of like lead your own life. But then, you know, it's good.
Well, I turned up in Chisinau, Moldova. Have you been to Moldova?
No.
So you'll know where it is. It's in between Spain and Romania.
Yeah.
I turned up in Chisinau, Moldova, and it was I obviously you hear things, don't you? I heard it was hostile, and you know, it was dangerous. I think it's maybe one of the most poor countries in Europe. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's the least visited, definitely. Yeah. And I think there's no.
But of course, in my day, Moldova didn't exist, did it? So
no, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I've turned up in Chisinau, and one thing that stands out in places like Ukraine and Moldova, if you go outside of the city, it's not, you know, if you're in London and you go to Croydon or you go to Shoreditch, it's still as well lit as the centre. As soon as you go outside the centre of the city in Chisinau, it's just dark. There's no street lights anywhere. You're just walking through. If you watch one of my videos from Moldova, the first one when I got there, I'm just walking along in the dark. You can't even see me. So I've got there at, I think, 11:30. I've arrived at this hotel, checked in, proper, like, it felt post-Soviet. You know, it was out in the outskirts of the city. So I thought, right, I need some food. I thought maybe there'll be a little kebab shop open, or, you know, a McDonald's or something. I can get some food before I go to bed. And I think I was walking out at somewhat to 1 a.m. at this point. Walked through the outskirts, skeptical, you know, and a lot like the cars passing me without lights on, that kind of thing. And you're thinking, you know, whoa, it's not. So anyway, I've got to the centre, and this car's just come flying in, like an old people carrier or something. And 4 lads get out, about my age, probably a bit older. And they get out chatting away in Russian or Romanian or whatever they were speaking. And I thought, right, well, I need some food. I'll just ask these. When you're out, lads, I said, where can I get some food here? And they went, down there. In fact, come with us. So I've just followed them. So I'm thinking, all right. Anyway, turned up at this restaurant. I'm not joking. It's getting to like 1 a.m. now. It was full, this restaurant. It was full of people everywhere. I thought, you know, I go down Manchester. You don't get restaurants full of people. So anyway, chatting away, whatever. Got this food. Ended up taking away a pizza in a box. There's a selfie on my social media of me with these 4 Moldovan lads, and it was going from, say, I went to a place that so many people say is hostile and crazy, and I've just turned up and ended up chatting away, and it was immense. Honestly, it was. I spent a night in Chisinau, and it was one of the best. But I also met. Have you seen Bald and Bankrupt, the travel vlogger? He's really well known.
No, I haven't. Yeah.
Well, I'm walking down the street. He's English, but goes to all kinds of different places. And I'm walking down the street, pressed my camera to start recording, and he's there. I was like, no way. Honestly, it was really, really. I think Christian House Centre at a universe or something, because it was.
As you say, that's just you know, if you hadn't done what you done when you done it, then that wouldn't have happened, would it? But it's just, as you say, just coincidence and everything else. As I say, I've had a great life. You know, everyone says I should write a book or write a novel or something like that, but you know, the stories that I could say. I mean, it's like people. You know, I've met a few presidents, and you know, things like that.
Go on, who have you met?
Well, who have I met? Obama, been to the White House there. Trump, not everyone's friends. Merkel, quite a few of them. So I've actually been to where there's been kings and queens, and so like the Queen when she's alive, most people only meet her once. Where like the garden party, I've been fortunate enough to go to the garden party not once, but 3 or 4 times. I've even been to a Christmas party there at Buckingham Palace. I mean, can tell you some good stories about that. Tony Blair, when he was when he was Prime Minister, I was awarded the UK Volunteer of the Year. I met with him, but again, an A-list of people, film stars. Tom Hardy. The list is endless. 300 or 400, literally A and B film stars. But I don't go I don't go around shouting about it. Oh, I've had dinner with him. Madonna, people like that. Been to a Chinese restaurant when she took over the whole Chinese restaurant and sort of, yeah. But as I say, they're just human beings like everyone else.
Yeah. So is that all through your charity work then?
That's all through all the stuff through like the charity work. And people say, "What charities do you support?" My answer to that is, well, any charity is a good charity. So there's just so many out there, 6,000 odd. So,
yeah, no.
But,
so
yeah.
you've got to tell me about your experience of meeting Trump.
Sorry, with Trump.
With Trump.
Oh well, with him, I did a walkout in the States, and out in the States they don't have charity functions basically, but organised something in Central Park, and then Trump building just around the corner, and then he got to hear about it, and I was going to get arrested for various reasons because you got to have a license for this, a license of that. So I didn't have the licenses. So but I literally got invited back to the building, met with him, had a chat. Asked him, at the time, I can't remember what he, at the time he was sort of like saying, well, how can I help and everything else. So although the guy is not liked by a lot of people, under that thick orange skin, he is a decent bloke in that respect, But
what year was that?
That was. It's a good question. I lose track of time, so that's got to be about 2010, round about.
Oh right, yeah. So pretty recently then, not in his presidential days, but he was certainly eyeing it up, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well, I can't remember if he was governor or something somewhere or whatever, something like that. But yeah, still high flying, and it's still in the politically high, but with the building and all, with the building and all that. But yeah, but as I say, different things, different times. So so as I say, I can't complain. I mean, a couple of people I've been with a long time talking, and so I'm just trying to think. Harry Styles, for example.
Oh, go on, tell me about him.
I spent 4.5 hours with Harry Styles, and I didn't have a clue who he was.
Really?
Yeah, but that was at the opening of his D-Day, where the D-Day, the film. I think that was 2017, round about then.
Yeah.
So I was up in Leicester Square, and walking the red carpet, seeing it, and so on and so forth. But yeah, as I say, I could just go on and on and on with all the.
No, definitely. But we need to do another podcast purely on your life experiences. We'll do it at some point if you're up for it.
Well, yeah, just whenever. But yeah, I can, as I say, whether it's George Clooney or whether it's Robin Hood, I can't remember his bloody name now. Mine's gone. As I say, that's what happens when you get old.
The White House, then, was that where you met Obama?
Yes, yeah. With the White House, one fact I always found with the White House, quite a fascinating fact. And when you go into the Oval Office, there's the carpet on the floor, and there's the eagle. And the eagle, the bald-headed eagle. Now, if it's looking to the right, that means they're at peace. But if it's looking to the left, or whichever way around it is, they're at war. So they actually changed the carpet when they, trivia question, but they actually changed carpet in the Oval Office when the America's at war or not at war. There's just so many different things, factual wise. That's quite.
Yeah, I tell you what, I bet that's some experience to be there and experience that, because you see it, you see the Oval Office how many times, all over the news. To actually be there, I bet that was just surreal.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like everything else, like surreal, But like I said, it's just, to me, it's just ordinary life, like, well, what you do in the weekend? Oh, well, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. No, I never, don't sort of blow me on trumpet. It's just a case of believe it or don't believe it type thing.
Yeah, I tell you what, though, I think you should try and capitalise on it with a book or a novel or something like that.
Yeah, well, perhaps. Well, the other thing is trying to find the time to do it. That's
I know. Well, I could do it if you want. I could do a biography on you if we split the profit.
Yeah. Well, as I say, I'd give mine to charity anyhow. So but yeah. Yeah, we'll have to have a chat.
Definitely, mate. Definitely, if we can make something out of it, and I'll advertise it, and I'll try and get the traction. If you've got the stories and all that, so have you got pictures with these people?
I have, yeah, but some of the pictures are like, because you get some things where you're not allowed pictures. But what I'll do is I'll at some stage have I got your email address?
Yeah. You've got. I think you will do. Yeah, I can send it all over anyway.
Yeah, so send me your email address and I'll send you some pics and you can have a look through.
Yeah, no, definitely. That sounds it.
And then if you want to have a chat, so like whether it's Bob Wilson, the goalkeeper, whether it's Eddie Eagles, he was funny. He was, very, very funny. Yeah, as I say, boxers, sport, film stars, quite a mixture.
Yeah, and is it still as you're still meeting lots of different people in your day-to-day life?
Oh yeah. As I say, I get invitations here, invitations there. It is crazy. I mean, it used to. Well, I'm not say used to be better in my drinking. My drinking days, it was such a good, but not so like to go to dinner or whatever. It's very, very hard to see everyone enjoying themselves and drinking away. But like a 99 to be, it didn't bother me. It's what you make of it, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's what you make of it, definitely.
Do you drink them 0% beers?
I drink the zero beers now, but I never used to in my drinking days. I never used to drink beer at all.
Really?
No, it used to be half pints of port, rum, or or brandy.
That's good going. That, to be fair.
Well, as I say, when I first started drinking, for a half a pint of port, it was 50p.
But so what year was that?
So that would be 1970.
It's just, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to work out.
Well, in those days, 10 shillings, not even 50p.
Yeah, so it's probably still cheap then, isn't it?
Oh yeah. But you see, like now, for example, because of like my race night next Saturday night, it'll be £1 a pint, £6 a bottle of wine, £3 for a double G&T.
Yeah, it's like supermarket prices, that, isn't it?
Well, it's even cheaper, half the price of supermarket prices,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, everything's going through the roof at the minute, isn't it? What do you think of that? Just thought of this question off the top of my head. What do you think of the state of the UK?
Well, it's getting there. I mean, believe it or not, I've been asked several times to stand to be either an MEP or politician, whether it's Labour, Liberal, or Conservative. But it's like banks when the finance world, everyone is good in their own way, but it's trying to get the goodness of all three, parties, main parties together, and then you'll have a perfect UK. But no, it's things aren't. Things are better in some respects and not so good in others. As I say, politics. Nah. No, it's.
I was going to say that was good. That was my next question. Would you not stand then? Would you not try and?
No, because if I were to stand, no matter what party I represented, I couldn't continue doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
for 50 odd years I've been doing it, it'd be a conflict of interest.
Yeah, well, yeah, and yeah, I suppose it'd limit certain options then, wouldn't it? In
So
you,
so it's like if I'm asked by conservatives, Les, will you do something for us? The answer is no, because set a precedent. If I do something for you, I've got to do it for somebody else.
Yeah.
But well, I'm going to move indoors because it's now peeing it down with rain. But so
No worries, no worries. So, would you carry on any other shows you'd apply for? Big Brother, The Traitors, Race Across the World, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like from a physical point of view. Let me just go in. Yeah, from a physical point of view, as I say, it would be difficult to do. But because I like my quizzes, I would certainly be up for anything quiz wise.
Yeah.
You'd
be good on the chase, probably. I'd imagine you'd be good on the chase.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of times I did have a chance on that, but as I say, I got I was ill at the time, so I missed the opportunity on that. Paul McIntyre, is it Paul McIntyre? I always forget his name. McIntyre.
Michael McIntyre.
Michael McIntyre. That's it. Don't even know his name. But I've been, waiting to hear from that. So.
The wheel.
Yeah, the wheel. Yeah.
Have you met him in the past?
Sorry.
Have you met Michael McIntyre in the past?
No, I haven't. No, because he's. I hate to say he's not really my cup of tea. I don't particularly like him. But there again, if I can go on a show and win some money for whoever, then yeah, I'm up for it.
Yeah, no, it's. I tell you what, you need to obviously pursue the TV stuff. Definitely, I think you've got the experience for it clearly. And but that honestly, you need to write a novel. Genuinely, this interview has astounded me with the amount of, because again, I wish I'd spoke to you, but the amount of people, you just don't have time to genuinely get to know every single person.
No, but the other thing is as well, as you say, you don't hear people, you don't know people's stories. That's the other thing. So that's a problem. You don't know people. You don't know people's stories, how they are, what their life history is, and so on, and things like that. But yeah, so I can talk the legs off a hind donkey, but because as you say, what is important to you might not be important to another, and they might just switch off. But
yeah, I know it's. I feel like a lot of people are like that, though. I feel like a lot of people can, like you say, switch off and disregard what someone's saying just because on the face of it, they're not their type of person. But if you really do engage and chat and make the effort to get to know people, you do. There's so much information from everyone else that you can kind of.
Yeah, and I mean, as I say, I'd like to think like people now over the decades know me for who I am and what I am and what I do. But like I said, I don't go around shouting it or no, look at me, look what I've done. I just like to think that if I can help anyway in any way, shape or form, then that's good. So I mean, like I said, you might have seen it a couple of weeks ago. So there are 40,000 pubs in the UK, and you think of all the people that use those pubs, then it went down to 761 entries, but then it went down to 3 people, 3 finalists, which I'm proud to say I was one of them, for the UK pubs regular hero. So I'm literally one of 3 finalists out of all the people that use the UK pubs, 40,000, so that was quite an achievement, and obviously be very proud of that. As I say, I've been voted the UK's Volunteer of the Year, Great Britain's Fundraiser of the Year, got awarded the British Citizens Award for volunteering in 2017. And how about this for coincidence? Shane, I don't know if you met Shane or you were Shane. So Shane Yerrell, Shane was the guy that I walked to the shops with when we first got there. And when I met Shane, you know, he didn't say much, the same as himself, but we were both at the same place, i.e. the House of Commons, receiving our award at the same time. The coincidence of that, you know, amazing. So
Yeah.
he's actually coming to the race night next Saturday night. He's coming down to attend that. So
Yeah.
that'll be good to see him.
No, it's like I said, everything on this podcast in this last 45 minutes has blown me away genuinely, because you did, like I said, I didn't speak to you, and you don't know what anyone does to you. And like you said, if you keep your mouth shut, you don't really you avoid a lot of the scrutiny and a lot of the, you know, people knowing you and all that kind of thing, which is obviously what you've wanted to do, but you've still got to know all these people, and it is unbelievable. But with your experience, what would you say to someone 20-year-old now who's maybe going into TV or wants to do charity work or whatever the kind of thing you've done? What would you say to them now in the modern era?
I would say to them simply, live your own life. Don't disregard what anyone thinks or says or acts, either towards you. You know, be supportive. You know, if you want to go down route A, go down route A. Don't listen to anyone else, because as with any life, if it doesn't work out, then you'll learn by experience. You know, and hopefully it will work out, and you'll be glad that you've done that and made that decision.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I tell you what, we need to do another podcast at some point, and we'll really delve into all the countries and all the politicians and celebrities and everything. If that's something you're up for, we'll have a chat definitely about it, and just send me over all the stuff you've done, all the pictures that you can.
Yeah, we'll do.
But yeah, Les, I appreciate it a lot, and it made great telly on Saturday night watching it. I'm sure a lot of people were entertained.
Yeah, well, I think that Thursday night I've got as I say, doing my quizzes on a Sunday tonight and Saturday. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and I know already the pub that I did a quiz on a Thursday night, they've already taken a picture and got a massive photograph, so that it's going to be hung on the wall there for posterity. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know, but there we go. So one scene never forgotten, as they say.
Yeah, no, that's great. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
and have a great week and everything like that. I appreciate it, mate.
Take care. Have a good one, Mel.
Cheers, Paul.
Bye.